Hello, welcome back to the Bonded Podcast. I'm Lizzie, and if you've been listening to the last few episodes, you already know that the holidays can feel like an emotional roller coaster. Old trauma, complicated family dynamics, grief, loneliness, these can all come up. And today is meant to be a really practical rescue guide. So I'm calling it the 3-tool holiday survival kit for you to take with you to Thanksgiving or to any upcoming holiday parties. So this is one that you can save and re-listen because we're actually gonna guide you on these practices. And the more you practice, the more it becomes natural. And these tools are really great because they're meant to be used, or they can be used in a social setting. So no one has to know that you're doing these. It's not like tapping where you're tapping on your face or doing a certain type of breath work. They're pretty simple and can be very hidden and invisible. So join me in this episode while we're going to do some live guided practices and do a little education on what's the point and why these are important. So before we practice the tools, we have to start with one thing that none of them work without: noticing what you're feeling in the first place. This is what we're all about here, mindfulness. Because you can't soothe what you can't feel. And you can't regulate what you don't recognize. And you can't care for yourself if you don't realize that you're hurting. So we need to have mindfulness. And during the holidays, we may recognize that emotions get louder. Not because anything's wrong with you, but because this season is full of memories and expectations and social comparison, and then sometimes deep grief or loneliness. We're not always consciously aware of these emotions, but you might notice that your body is speaking up first, such as the chest getting tight, your stomach dropping, heat, irritation, feeling foggy or restless. So these are emotional signals. Our mind and body are connected. Our emotional and physical body. And these emotions, these physical sensations, are messengers. They're carrying information. I need space. I don't feel safe right now. I need a boundary. I'm tired. These are different things that your body and mind are communicating to you. They're trying to signal, hey, pay attention. And mindfulness of emotion is important to be able to do any of these skills, to be able to then tend to yourself and take care of yourself. And it's simply about noticing this message before it starts screaming. So let's practice it right now, real quick. Wherever you are, I invite you to take one breath in and out and ask yourself, what is one feeling that usually shows up for me at holiday gatherings? What is that feeling for you? Anxiety, irritation, sadness, shame, loneliness. Name it silently. Now notice if you can feel that emotion anywhere in the body right now. Continuing to breathe as you notice and do a brief scan from head to toe. No need to fix it, change it, push it away. Just noticing. And that is it. That is the first step to all these practices, mindfulness of emotion. And another piece before we dive in is the SUDS scale. So SUDS is an acronym for Subjective Units of Distress Scale. So it's very commonly used in therapy, and it's a scale from 0 to 10. You can think of it like a thermometer for how activated you are in the moment. So 0 would be totally calm or neutral. And then 10 is extreme distress. I'm totally losing it. I'm either totally shut down and dissociated or really raging that anger. So the very extreme sense. So the golden rule that we like to share is that if you're at a 6 or higher, then you're likely going to need to use the stop skill that we're going to share before you do anything else. And if you're above like a 7 or, you're getting up there, you might need to really remove yourself from the situation. Go to the bathroom, go to the porch. I need to grab something from my car. It's not rude. You're just taking care of yourself so that you can go and respond and show up to life in a way that's truly you and not reacting from this emotional reactive way. And so this can also be helpful too if you don't want to label, your emotion or your physical sensation. You can just name your number. So you can check in with yourself, mindfulness of your SUDS, of your distress, and naming, where am I on the 0 to 10 scale? So a little recap on why we want to even use tools, and why these tools actually work. So when old stuff gets triggered, your adult brain goes offline and your nervous system screams, danger! And these tools are doing two things. So they bring the wise part of your brain back online and they tell your body you're safe right now. So if you're ready, we are going to practice these skills together. So of course, if you're driving, you can practice these to the greatest extent that you can, but I'll also invite you to come back to them when you're not driving or doing something else. Or, if you are going out and about in your life, it could be another great way to try to practice it and see what it's like to actually practice while you are walking around. Another little challenge. So the first tool is called the stop skill. So we're going to just imagine that you are already at the party, the social event, and someone just said the thing, said their political perspective, or commented on someone in your family, and that just, you notice your chest is getting tight, your face might be getting red, and we're going to stop together, exactly like you would in this situation. So STOP is an acronym. The first letter, S, is to stop, inviting you to freeze. Whatever you're doing, pause. You don't have to answer the person. You don't have to smile. Just pausing. Creating a little space in this moment. And then next, T. Take a breath with me. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Letting it go. Doing another breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Maybe notice any little drop in the shoulders, or if you can release any physical tension. Now to the O, observe. So you've created this quiet space, or metaphorical quiet space. And observe, what emotion is here? Name it without judgment. Where is it living in the body right now? Notice and describe what area of the body is this in right now. And then get curious on, what do I actually need in this moment? Do I need space, kindness, to step away? Whatever arises, allow it to be the answer that you need for right now. And then P, proceed mindfully. Proceed with choice. From this pause that you've created, you get to decide what your next move is on purpose, not from that triggered, emotionally reactive state. So maybe you do continue to excuse yourself. You can change the subject. You can simply be quiet. Whatever you choose, make it a conscious choice that supports your boundaries and your well-being. Beautiful. You just did it. Now your body has muscle memory for bringing this to Thanksgiving, Christmas, or any holiday or social events coming up this season. So now we're going to move on to tool number 2, called soothing touch. Because your body believes touch faster than it believes words. When we are little, a caregiver's gentle touch is what signaled to our nervous system, you are safe, before we knew language. And that wiring is still within us as adults, and we can give it to ourselves now. This is called the mammalian caregiver. The mammalian caregiver response, we'll call it, is that you can tend to yourself, tend to that wiring that's innate in us. And it's especially powerful for those who didn't get that consistent touch growing up. So, you can become and provide that kindness that you needed. And that's neuroscience. That's not woo-woo. So we're going to do this right now. Beginning, I'll invite you to breathe as we enter into this next practice. So taking a breath in and out. And I'm going to offer some different placements for you to offer yourself some kind, soothing touch. So the first one you'll see me often do is a hand on the heart. So I place a hand in the middle of my chest. And I'll invite you to try each of these out as I guide them. And just notice taking a breath in this first position with your hand on your heart. For the next one, I'll invite you to add one hand to the belly. So one hand on the heart, one on the belly, taking a breath in and out. The next position is the arms gently crossed. So I kind of think of it like a hug, like you're hugging yourself. And you can even rub your arms up and down or rub your thumbs over your shoulders. And this can even look like it's just cold. If you were to do this at the dinner table, it's just kind of like, oh, I'm chilly right now. So just notice what this feels like. And the last one is a hand on your cheek or 2 hands on your cheek. You might rest one on your head, your cheek. Kind of just notice what this is like to hold your face. And then reflect on which of those positions really felt the most comforting and return to that position. So for me, it's the hand on the heart. I want you to really feel the weight, the presence of these 2 areas of your body touching together, feeling it as a comforting, warm, soothing sensation. And inviting the breath to join as well. You might even offer yourself some words to support yourself, such as you're safe, I've got you, and continue to breathe with that soothing touch position. And do a brief check-in. Notice if you feel any less tense, any more ease. If your number has gone down 5 to a 3. This personally is my go-to every single day. And I'm so glad that I could share it with you, so you can keep it in your pocket for this season or the whole party. And no one has to think that it's strange. It can look thoughtful. It can look like you're cold. Yeah. And we'll transition right into the third practice called the self-compassion break. Now that your body is calmer, these words of kindness can really land deeper. So this is for the guilt, the shame, the I'm too much, I'm not enough, those mental spirals that love to show up at family gatherings. Continuing in this presence, I'll invite you to take another breath in and out. And you can keep your hand where it felt soothing for you for this practice. Beginning with the first step is mindfulness of the struggle. Silently offering to yourself, this is a moment of suffering. This is a moment of suffering. Or simply, ouch, this hurts right now. So you're really just acknowledging the struggle of the moment. So say it in your mind with me now. This is a moment of suffering. Then moving to step 2, common humanity. Offering to yourself, I am not alone. Other people are feeling this exact same way tonight. This suffering is part of being human. I am not alone. So really letting it land that you are not alone, you are not broken, that this is part of the human experience. Taking a breath, letting that land, and moving to step 3, self-kindness. Offering yourself a phrase that you need to hear to give yourself some kindness. You can try any of these or make one of your own. May I be gentle with myself right now. May I give myself the care I would give a dear friend. May I feel safe and at ease. So say these silently. Choose one. Repeat it once, twice. Continue to breathe. And really feeling that kindness, the soothingness, warmth of your hand on your chest, your belly, your hug. This is a moment where you're taking care of yourself in real time. And you can do this practice faster than I explained it. And no one has to know either. You can do this at the dinner table. 1, just acknowledging this is a moment of suffering. 2, I am not alone in this feeling. 3, may I be gentle with myself right now. Look at that. So in closing, just summing it up, the 3 practices I shared with you today, the first one is the stop skill. So the second that you really start to feel that emotional activation rising, this is the one you want to begin with. Stop right there. Stop it before it gets any higher. The second one was soothing touch. So this is finding a comforting, secure feeling, secure, soothing touch. And then 3 was the self-compassion break. When shame or guilt or just difficult emotions come up, you can use this self-compassion break. And to help you really practice these and have them easily accessible in the moment, I am making you a PDF or a picture to save on your phone so you can reference it real quick. So you check out the show notes for that. And really encourage you to come back to this episode too. Listen to it as another way to practice it again, or on your drive to the party, listen to it again. And know that you don't have to be perfect in this season. It's okay if you do have an emotional reaction. We just want to bring more mindfulness, more kindness to the human experience, to the human that's showing up in your body. And now you have some tools to support you in doing that. Thank you for practicing with me today. I wish you a skillful, easeful, joyful holiday, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. If it spoke to you, it'll probably speak to someone you love too. Share it with a friend and leave us a 5-star review to help spread the message it's never too late to heal.